صباح الخير يا ولاد. يا رب تكونوا بخير وكل حاجة تمام. احنا دلوقتي اهو عاملين فيديوهات لمادة التاكس، هنكمل من ساعة ما خلصنا من ساعة الأجازة. How are you my dear friends? We are going to continue our tax lectures and we are going to start from where we finished in the lecture before the quarantine. Hope you good luck. Number 5. Accurate expenses. Concerned to the ended year and had not paid yet. يعني ايه؟ يعني هي ليها علاقة بالسنة دي بس احنا لسه ما دفعناهاش. The amount of the expense in profit and loss account income statement is less than the annual amount. This accurate expense must be subtracted from the accounting net profit. هنا هنعمل ايه في accurate expense؟ ده expense عليا خلال السنة. يعني ايه عليا خلال السنة؟ يعني انا لسه ما دفعتوش، مستحق عليا يعني، فانا هشوف الفرق اللي عليا وهخصمه من الاكاونتنج نت بروفيت. طب ليه هخصمه من الاكاونتنج نت بروفيت؟ لان هو يخص السنه. prepaid expense are concerned to the next year and paid at the ended year. ده العكس. البريبيد اللي هو المدفوع مقدم، انا دافع رنت مثلا ل3 سنين ورحت خصمت الرنت كله من السنه دي، فهنعمل ايه؟ The amount of the expense in the profit and loss account income statement is more than the annual amount. هو زيادة عن ما له علاقة بالسنة. This prepaid expense must be added to the accounting net profit. يبقى هو not accepted، يبقى أنا هزوده على النت profit. يبقى أنا عندي دلوقتي حاجتين، accurate expense prepaid expense. accurate expense اللي هو لسه عليا بس يخص السنة، فأنا هروح أخصمه من النت بروفيت. لكن البريبيد اكسبنس ده مدفوع لمدة أطول من السنة، فما لا يخص السنة اللي ملوش أي علاقة بالسنة هو اللي هعمل له اد، يبقى هو not accepted، هعمل له اد على الاكاونتنج net profit. وده example بسيط اهو قدامنا. قال لي the following are data about a company for year 2014 accounting net profit 50,000. wages paid during the year 20,000 monthly wages اللي هي المفروض per month يعني 2,000. rent paid during the year 10,000 monthly rent 800. عايز طبعا ال income tax amount. خلينا نشوف هنعمل ايه. First of all, I'm going to prepare my observations as I'm used to from the lectures. عندي observations. First of all, I'm going to make the observation for wages. I'm going to calculate the annual wages for the year. Then I'm going to compare with the amount paid. احنا الأول هنحسب amount الفلوس اللي اتدفعت اللي المفروض ادفعها في السنة كويجز، وبعدين هقارنها بالرقم اللي انا دفعته واشوف انا ليا ولا عليا، هل دي accurate ولا prepaid. فقال amount paid during the year 20,000 annual amount equal 2,000 اللي هو ال wages per month times 12 month equal 24,000. يبقى I have paid 20,000 and I should paid 24,000. أنا دفعت 20,000 لكن أنا لازم أدفع 24,000. So this is going to be accurate. So I'm going to say there are accurate amount equal the difference between what I actually paid and what I should pay. 24,000 minus 20 equal 4,000 must be subtracted to the accounting net profit. يبقى هقول إن أنا كان المفروض أدفع 24 لكن أنا دفعت 20، يبقى الفرق ما بينهم 4، يبقى الرقم must be subtracted from the accounting net profit. For rent هنشوف برضو الرنت ده كان prepaid ولا كان accurate. I'm going to see if it was prepaid or accurate. Amount paid during the year 10,000. Then I'm going to calculate the annual amount of rent for this year. So I'm going to multiply 800 monthly rent times 12 months equal 9,600. هروح أطلع الرنت السنوي بتاعي، فهضرب ال 800 اللي هو الرنت الشهري في 12 شهر هيديني 9,600. Then I'm going to subtract or to compare between the amount I have already paid and what I should pay. هروح أقارن ما بين اللي أنا دفعته وما بين اللي أنا المفروض أدفعه. So I'm going to say 10,000 minus 9,600 equal 400. يبقى أنا كنت المفروض أدفع 9,600 دفعت 10، يبقى الفرق دوت إيه؟ I'm going to add the difference to the accounting net profit. Why? Because it doesn't relate to this year. And I'm going to make a very small tax return statement saying accounting net profit plus what I have accepted and minus plus what I haven't accepted, rejected يعني, and minus what I have accepted. I'm going to add the prepaid rent with the difference only, the 400 not accepted amount, and I'm going to subtract the accurate wages with 4000 اللي هو ال accepted amount. هنروح نعمل tax return statement صغيرة بسيطة كده، هزود فيها أي حاجة not accepted اللي هي كانت ال prepaid rent عندنا، وهزود ال difference بس، وهنقص ال accurate wages اللي هي تخص السنة، وبرضو هنقص الفرق بس. Number 8, income tax. The income tax is all not accepted. It's not accepted as an expense at all. مش مقبولة, and we should add it to the accounting net profit. Penalties and fines paid. Penalties, we are having two types. First type, for any delay or of execution of a contract is accepted as expense, but there is another type, for any wrong procedures against general law is not accepted as expense and add to the accounting net profit. احنا عندنا نوعين من penalties والfines paid. عندنا حاجة accepted وحاجة not accepted. accepted الديلي بتاع أي عقد، إن أنا أتأخر في تنفيذ أي عقد، ده accepted as an expense. لكن لو أنا عملت أي خطأ ضد القانون، فيبقى لو هدفع أي penalty ده مش accepted وإن أنا لازم أزوده. Reserves and allowances are not accepted as expense. الريزيرف والallowances زي بالظبط income tax not accepted كلها. Number 11. Doubtful debts allowance in banks is an exception. Is accepted as an expense within 80%. Then 20% is not accepted as an expense. So we are having doubtful debt allowance. Okay, don't get confused between doubtful debt allowance and allowances. This is an item and this is another one. احنا عندنا doubtful debt allowance، ما تتلخبطوش ما بين doubtful debt allowance والallowances. All the allowance, the item allowance is all not accepted. allowance not accepted كله. بس doubtful debt allowance, the doubtful debt allowance is accepted with 80%, so not accepted with 20%. Bad debts when realized is not accepted as expense within 80% اللي هو allowance, thus 20% is accepted. So we are having, if we had the item bad debts allowance, so 20% is accepted, the opposite of the doubtful debts. يبقى to summarize this confusing item again, we are having doubtful debts allowance and bad debts allowance. Doubtful debt allowance is accepted with 80%, but Bad debts allowance is accepted only with 20%, the opposite of it. And what about the allowance? The allowance is all not accepted. يبقى عندنا doubtful debt بنوافق عليها ب80%، لكن الباد debt allowance بنوافق عليه ب20%، والallowance لو كلمة allowance لوحدها جاية يبقى هي كلها not accepted. Technical allowances in insurance company number 12. These companies are obligated to establish these allowances according to the supervision on insurance law number 10 for year 1980. Thus, these allowances are full accepted as expenses in determine the tax bracket. يبقى if I got the technical allowances in insurance companies only, they are all fully accepted without a limit. لو أنا جالي technical allowances في insurance companies هي كلها accepted، لأن في قانون بيكفل لهم كده إن كلها accepted. This is an example. The following is profit and loss account for the year 2014 of a certain bank. عندنا this is the account, the profit and loss account: rent, fire insurance, debit interest, salaries, debt, doubtful debt allowance, net profit وإلى آخره. وقال لي and he told us if you know that the balance of doubtful debts allowance is 2, the monthly rent is 1.5, fire insurance covers 1 year beginning from 1st of April, monthly salaries is 2. The bank completed procedures of bad debts and present a report from a charactered account. Calculate the tax bracket. So we are going to take the 5 points and start adjusting to calculate the tax bracket. Here we are going to start solving the example. First of all, we are going to calculate the rent, the annual rent, and see if you are going to add it or subtract it or there is no adjustment. So we found that he should pay 18 and he paid 20. So we are going to add the difference with 2. And then we are going to see for the fire insurance. Fire insurance, we are going to calculate what is not accepted. You can calculate the accepted and subtracted, but this is more simple, more direct and easier and quickest. We are going to multiply what we paid times 3 months, which is not accepted and doesn't belong to this year, since he have paid the fire insurance from 1st of April. So January, February, March is not included in our statement. So we are going to multiply times 3 months over 12 equals 2.5. This is not accepting. We are going to add. For debit interest, it doesn't relate to this business. For salaries, also we are going to make the same adjustment. For bad debt, the amount not accepted is 2 within the balance of allowance. For doubtful debts allowances, we are going to multiply the number times 20%, which is not accepted, and we are going to add it. هنعمل نفس الموضوع في الرنت. هنبدأ نحسب الرنت والفاير انشورنس والدبت والايتمز اللي عندنا. هنلاقي ان الرنت هو المفروض يدفع 18 لكن هو دفع 20، فهنزود 2 الفرق. في الفاير انشورنس هو دافع من اول 1 ابريل، يعني في 3 شهور مش داخلين معايا، فهضرب الرقم اللي هو دفعه في ال3 اللي ما دخلوش معايا اللي هم جانيوري فبراير مارش، اللي هم 3 على 12 شهر في 2.5، يبقى ده نوت ريجكتد. الديبت انترست ملهاش اي علاقة بالشغل بتاعي، فانا مش هعمل لها حاجة. for salaries نفس الموضوع. الديبت انترست هروح احسب الفرق ما بين الاماونت الموجودة ناحية السي ار في الحساب واشيلها من الديبت بدت اللي موجودة في الدي ار، ده في الجدول اللي مديهولنا، فنلاقي 5 ناقص 3 بيدينا 2. او ممكن على طول اخد الرقم اللي مديهوني في الجيفنز اللي تحت المسألة. وفي الdoubtful debt allowance هحسب 20% اللي هي not accepted حسب القانون، هيطلع لي ب 0.8. And it's your turn to prepare our tax bracket statement. Only you are going to add what is rejected and to subtract what is accepted. And I'm going to give you a very little hint. We are going to subtract only the accurate salaries, and we are going to add the prepaid rent, prepaid fire insurance, bad debts, and 20% of allowance. Hope you can do it, and hope everything is going to be okay with you. See you in the next lecture إن شاء الله. احنا بقى الدور بتاعنا جه علينا، احنا بقى اللي هنعمل ايه؟ التاكس براكت statement، وهديكوا كده هنت يساعدكوا. احنا هنشيل we are going to subtract ال accurate salaries، وهنزود ال prepaid rent، ال prepaid fire insurance، ال bad debt، و 20% of allowance. يا رب تكونوا فهمتوا. لو حد عنده اي اسئلة يبعتها لي على الاي learning، واشوفكم في المحاضرة الجاية. بالتوفيق.